Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Laura and today we are talking about things that you should declutter right now. A lot of the time on this minimalist journey and decluttering, it can take some time to work through things, think about things, plan things, whatever. However, sometimes there are times to just get rid of stuff, and that is what we are talking about today, so let's get into it. Alrighty, the first thing to just declutter right now is extra pots and pans. I would define this by stuff you hate using, stuff you find that you never use, or stuff that you kind of use but can actually easily be replaced with something else that you already have. My definition for like how much I want to have is really just based on what I would usually cook. Can I do all of my usual cooking without needing to like quickly wash something and then reuse it? There are times when I end up doing that, but that's usually when I'm cooking more food, but I only want to have the pots and pans that I really enjoy using, that I can't easily use something else for, and therefore something sitting there redundant, and that I have enough items that I can get through all of my usual cooking without doing quick washes up. Like anything else on top of that probably is not needed. The next thing is kitchen appliance double ups. I've worked really hard to try have things that are not a double up of another item, but I know that it can happen really, really easily. We have something that does one thing and then we end up with another appliance that actually replaces that first one and does more, but we're kind of used to using the first one, and so we end up with multiple items that can do multiple things, and it actually means that we just have excess kitchen appliances. So I would suggest doing a quick stock take of what you have, and if you realize that there's something that you're not really using anymore because it's now redundant, get rid of it. The next thing is expired food. I think it is a great idea a few times a year to go through your pantry and your fridge and your freezer and just check if there are any items that you've maybe forgotten about, or that you used to eat and just don't really eat anymore, or that you thought that you would like and then ended up not really liking and so just haven't used. Any of that kind of stuff, especially if it's expired, get rid of it. It's such a great feeling, particularly if you're someone like me who likes to cook a lot, when you then go back to your cupboard and fridge and there's just less clutter in there, and this whole like expired foods or foods that you just really don't use and are not going to get around to use, like if it's sat there 6 or 12 months, maybe you should just get rid of it anyway. Get rid of that stuff and it's just going to feel so much nicer. Toiletries you don't use. I don't know what it is with toiletries, but we always seem to accumulate them from people, whether it's as gifts or people moving overseas or stuff that people don't like or that maybe they've reacted to and they say, do you want this thing? It just finds our way into our cupboards. So for me, I like to go through and see if there are any items that I've either been given or that I've bought, which doesn't happen super often, that I just have not been using. And I may sort of ask myself, do I want to bring this into my routine and can I realistically do that? That happens very infrequently, but usually if it's an item that I have not used in the past few months, it's time to either pass it on to someone else, or maybe if it is expired, just throw it in the bin. Extra sheets and towels. Again, these just seem to find their way in there. But I would suggest doing a quick stock take. It doesn't need to be a massively involved thing, of your sheets and towels. Are there any that you really, really don't like using and that you don't need to keep because you have sufficient other items that you do like using? Get rid of those. Or if you really have too many to actually realistically use, and so you're never getting around to using half the towels you have because you just rotate through a different half, maybe look at gifting those, donating those, just taking them out of your space if it's very obvious that you just have too many of these items to be practically using them, and yeah, free up some space for yourself, get rid of them. Shoes and clothes that you don't really reach for. Now, if we can be really honest with ourselves, this should be something that's actually fairly easy to do, which is to look through all of your shoes and clothing items. If you see things, especially that you are surprised are there and you go, oh, I forgot that I had that, and you're not immediately inspired going, oh my gosh, I forgot I had that. Like, I love that thing. I'm gonna wear that thing. You know, sometimes things get pushed to the side and we end up not seeing them, right? But if you see it and you go, oh, that thing, I forgot I had that thing. maybe it's time to move on from that item. If this is not something that you are looking for, that you are being inspired to wear, or that you're finding is especially useful, and particularly if you look at it and think, oh geez, that thing's really scratchy, or like really stuffy, or really doesn't fit me very well, get rid of those items. Free yourself up for the things that you do reach for, that you do enjoy wearing, that you are excited about. The next is ripped, stained, or worn clothes that can't be easily fixed. Now, I do have some items that I'm going to be taking to get holes fixed in soon, but I do know that I have had things in the past, particularly that have gotten stained or worn, that I know cannot easily be remedied. And I end up keeping them around, which is just a really silly idea, because aside from having like a set of painting clothes, because we are renovating, I do not need extras of like stained, worn clothes. They don't serve us. We may feel bad that we used to really enjoy wearing this thing and now we can't, but it's really not serving us to just keep it around. So if it's ripped, stained, worn through, has holes in, and you don't believe that it can be easily fixed, or maybe you've had it for like a year and you haven't gotten around to fixing it, maybe it's time to just let that thing go. Books that you have read and have not reread. So I have a lot of books on my Kindle, but I also have some physical books. And I have found in recent months that going through my books has actually been really helpful for seeing things that I read once and have not touched for like the last 2 years. The thing is, it may be a great book, but if it's not something that I'm going to reach for to reread or to reference back to, it's probably something that I can let go of. Get the book, take the learnings from it, and if it's not something you're going to go back to, pass it on to someone else. Another thing with books is books that you've had for a year or more. You can set out the time frame as you want, but for me, it's a year or more that I have not read. So I can get books sometimes from op shops. My husband is more so the one for this. But if you've had a book in your possession, on your bookshelf, on your bedside table, whatever, for more than a year and you have not gotten around to reading it, it's pretty unlikely that you are going to get around to reading it. So I would say that if you haven't managed to read it after that period of time, maybe it's time to just let it go. All right, and the last thing is seasonal items. Now, I find seasonal items kind of easy to deal with because there is usually a set time, like Christmas, for example, when you want to be using this item. And if Christmas is past and this is something that was annoying you the whole time or you did not use over Christmas, get rid of it. The likelihood is that if you didn't like it this past Christmas or it wasn't your favorite thing this past Christmas, it's probably not going to be for next Christmas. And instead of waiting until next Christmas to see this thing again and then go, oh, that's right, I hate that thing, let me get rid of it. As soon as you know it, get rid of it. Give yourself some space for the rest of the year. It's currently April, right? Why wait to throw that thing out? So if there's a seasonal item that you really don't think that you want around, it's probably not going to be the case in 6 months to a year from now. So just help yourself out, get rid of that item. Alrighty, it's a nice quick one today. So that is everything I have for you guys now. I hope that you've enjoyed this video and that this has given you some inspiration to maybe even just quickly go around your home in the next couple of days and find any of these items that you want to declutter right now. If you have any easy, quick tips on things that are really easy to declutter just straight away, please put them in the comments down below. I would love to see them from you, and I'd love how you guys end up sharing ideas with each other. It's really sweet. So thank you so much. If you enjoy this content, please subscribe, and I will see you again soon. Bye.